Yorana, and welcome to FM Tahiti. Hope you're all doing well and you've not been basically melted into a puddle by the recent heat wave, which is what's currently happening to me. So if you hear a kind of weird noise in the background, that's a fan that's got set up. I've tried to set things up as some kind of like wind tunnel. So there's a fan at one end. I'm in the room next to it, and then I've got a window open as well, so hopefully there's a bit of a cooling system going on, but it might make the sound a bit weird. But honestly, the only other option is to just not record anything because I'm sweating just thinking about doing stuff. Otherwise, really nice. So what are we doing today? Well, today we've got the OCL, so we're going to play all the OCL matches. Might be a bit longer than normal as we fit them in. I'm going to do the media side of things first, because it's the first time we've ever got here. We're making history. Yes, we want to do as well as we can. Ben Thomas, his record speaks for itself. I always go for that one as like a default, otherwise you'll just irritate them if you don't talk nicely about them. We're not going in for him, but I won't be discussing it. The Humpbacks, after we played them, fired their manager, Jonathan Wamitan. And I think their favourite to take over is Didier Sawalaka or something like that, but he's the manager of the Eels, who used to be, back in the day, our assistant manager when we were at the Humpbacks. Or was he under 23s manager? I think he might be the under 23s manager. I think we're going to do well in the O-Leagues, I'm going to say that. Game's very bad at recognising when people are good at overperforming. So with our record, you would have thought maybe the press would be like, well, you've overperformed in the past, you're going to do it again. But nah. Not giving us any credit for any of that. So we've got PS United first, then Suva FC, and then Erica Gold, whatchamacallit. The league's obviously carrying on without us, so we're going to end up with some games in hand. AS Chance at the top. Moria are 2 points behind us with 2 games in hand, so it looks quite likely that they're going to storm ahead past us. I think Moria, my new favourites for the title. So here we go. I'm going to start the squad. I don't think there's going to be too many massive changes for us when we actually play against PS United, because our team's not got a huge amount of depth. It's got some depth, but just not tons. So whoever we've got as our best 11 is going to play, really. So Bon is injured. So what we'll do about that is Lamb will go around to the left, and then Ben Thomas will go on the, Lamb will go on the right, and then Thomas will go on the left. And that, I think, pretty much covers us there. We can go into the match. We've had about 14 days, I think, since the last fixture, so we're in a good position fitness-wise. Might not be as sharp as it could be. As far as I could tell, PS United don't have any real players, so there's no non-grey players in there, I think. I'll have another look in a bit, but even if I did, the standards of those players isn't going to be huge. Yeah, they're all kind of greyed out. They're real players, you'd have the regen face in there. There we go. So PS United, Vanuatu. Manuel in. So we're on the hunt for our first O-League goal for the Turthangengi Wings. 7 shots to their none. We're making some progress here. Go on, Manuel. Going on a little run. Through Tangara, almost. Chidi with the follow-up. Chidi bang bang. Feel a bit bad for Tamangara because he's in a nice position, but he just didn't do it. So Chidi was there to bang in the follow-up. Good ball in by Manuel there. And there we go. Our first O-League goal scored by Lukman Chidi. I think when we were the Humpbacks, we were playing in, I was going to say Europe, but in continental competition, we were putting a lot of goals past teams. But then the Humpback side we had a lot more experience. We had better youth prospects. We don't really have any because we don't have a youth system. Had more money and so on, so they were stronger, and that kind of shows in the results. But I reckon we still got a good chance. Go on, Jean-Baptiste. Oh, smacked it against the post after that little run. Yeah, I reckon we'll still get through the group. It's just rather than winning like 5 or 6-0, we might have some 2-0s and 1-0s or the equivalents. Mangara's picked up a yellow, so we'll have to consider bringing him off at some point. Oh, Frey. I don't think he meant that, did he? I think he's trying to flick it on. No, he's claiming that. Acting like he meant to. In it goes. Okay, maybe he did mean that one. He looked. Yeah, apologies if you get any noise from outdoors as well, like cars going by or whatever. It's just, yeah, the heat's not good. It's not even that hot. I think wherever we're playing in the game is probably like 33 degrees. It's not that. Nowhere near that. Oh, Tamangara, what was that? They've gone off for a throw-in. Oh, corner it was. It touched someone. Come on, Jean-Baptiste, get it in. Back out for a throw-in. We do have the easiest of the groups as well. Oh, it's a breezy 27 actually. It's not much hotter than where we are currently. I'll set off the second half, and then I'm going to find out how hot it actually is. Let's see. Well, let's see if they can get it out. Right, where's my weather app gone? I can never find these apps when I actually need to. Oh, my phone's decided I don't need the weather app. My iPhone tends to delete things if things that I don't need just to save space. So apparently I don't need to know what the weather is. Oh, look at that. So many opportunities. Absolutely no goal at all from that. Let's see. Has it downloaded it again? So apparently in the Midlands it's 24. Sunny in 24. So it feels like the surface of the sun. Go on, Chidi. There we go. Getting his another. Maybe he's going to go for the top goal scorer for the continental competition. Yeah, so 24 degrees here. Only a 3-degree difference, and there's a breeze over there. Their keeper's not very good, is he? He could have held that first one. That's fine for us. Right, Tamangara, let's bring him off for Chabert. Let's bring on Tia Hut for Spearling. And Minan on for Frey. And then I think in the next match we'll probably rotate a little bit more. Like I said before, we've not got a huge amount of depth, but we've got a little bit. We've got enough in that we can change up a little bit of the starting 11. But I don't want to make too many changes, especially if we've not got qualification yet. But maybe the next match I should just go for the strongest team. And for the final match, hopefully we'll know whether we've qualified or not, and we can just rest then for the knockouts. Do it. Jean-Baptiste. Manuel, over to Thomas. Good move. Interesting ball in. Almost. Oh, there we go, Manuel. There we go. Another goal for the Wings. So I was saying maybe we'll get 6-0s, 5-0s, but 4-0s looking pretty decent. Minan almost had one as well. No doubt there from Manuel. 29 shots there, none. There we go, that's their first shot. Taking them over an hour. Wasn't a bad free kick either, but Go on, get it in. Chabert stood there and just nodded it in. Chabert's attributes look terrible, but he still scores for us. He's reliable. He's not got many goals this season simply because he's just not played that much this season, not with Wallace, Tamangara and Chidi there. But if we had, he would have scored. I don't think he'd have been that far off some of the other players. Okay, 5-0. My predictions were wrong. You've got Suva next, and they're a Fijian side. I think Football in Oceania has a Twitter account. Oh, go on, Minan. That was nice. My computer suddenly lagged and jumped a bit when he did that. And then Minan, tuck you down, boom. Keeper completely wrong-footed. Yes, there's a Twitter account, Football in Oceania, and they report on football in Oceania. I think they've got an interview up with the ex-Fiji head coaches. Really good kind of insight into football over in Oceania. So well worth a read if you get the opportunity. Oh, Chabert, look at that. Just change the direction of the ball. Chidi got the assist. Manuel with that driving run again, and Chidi just has a simple Chabert's slab head, isn't he? Okay, 7-0. So I was right in the sense that 6-0, 5-0 wasn't on the cards. Just 7. Ooh, took off his feet, but it doesn't matter. So not bad for our very first kind of show in there. 38 shots to their 3. So I think we're going to qualify. Don't want to call it just yet, but we're going to qualify. So I'll probably do is play a strong team again against Suva, and then I can relax in the final match. My final match against Erica. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so we are back, as is my squeaky chair. So we've got the Suva match coming up. We don't know anything about them. So they are Fijian side, no real players. Of note, their schedule the past few years. They have played in the O-League. Go back quite a while ago for their last win in the O-League. This is 2023, 5 years ago. So again, I think we probably got this one. I told the press we were going to rotate players. I decided I'm not going to, although I feel like I've just done here. I feel like I moved something that I shouldn't have done. Something moved in my mouse. But no, that's fine. We shall just go straight in with this. Bring on Kerr for Meunier. I quite like Kerr. I think Meunier is on his last season, unless he's got one of those horrible clauses in his contract, which means because we're not being relegated and he's played a few matches, he'll carry on. So a win here should almost certainly guarantee us a spot in the knockouts. Manuel. Baptiste, Spearling. Just kept on moving on slightly down the line. See if someone could open up for a shot. Spearling to Jean-Baptiste. Into Chidi. Chidi bang. 15th goal of the season, calmly taken. Chidi Chidi bang bang, we love you. Chant from the stands there. Apparently he's on track for a club record. If he gets one more player of the match, or man of the match, as it actually is, then he will have the record for the most in a row. Like, have 6 in a row, something like that. Which isn't a bad record. And also that 7-0 win against PS United. Go on, Tamangara. Yeah, 7-0 win was also our highest ever win. So we broke a record there, not bad. What is bad is this temperature here, 39 degrees. That is a lot hotter here than here. No breeze, 39 degrees. That feels wrong completely. Can't Spearling. Jean Baptiste. One a year. Interesting runs there, just nothing came from it. All the way back to Smith. Hopefully this is going to be an amazing goal rather than just a highlight that's wasting everyone's time. Manuel past his man. Ball goes in. Oh, Tamangara, so close. Feel bad for Tamangara. He's not a natural finisher in quite the same way some of the other players are, but he does generally play well. Not bad at all, really. Give a shout. Let's go get creative. So I've got 2 inspired and 1 confident. I think I mentioned quite a few videos ago, get creative and demand more seem to be the best shouts to use. I tend not to use them that often because I just forget. And also if I'm playing on, say, the iPad, because I can stream to the iPad, if I steal my wife's iPad, that is. It's still a bit fiddly sometimes, the touchscreen on it, so stopping to shout can be a bit of an effort. Oh, Frey. Like that. Ball goes back in just behind the defence. Frey does a little volley there. Chidi moves it out. Manuel spreads it even wider. Calm as you like. Frey bags another. Oh, it's Spearling. A bit of room. Oh, Chidi smacked it against the Frey. That's his position, isn't it? Just that kind of area of the box. And then you can kind of side foot it in from distance or get a little volley on it. 3-0, not bad. Not bad at all. Throw in from right the back post. Yeah. Not quite going to get his hat trick yet. He's got plenty of time left there. What a tackle. Tamangara gets past his man. Nobody there. Free to Tamangara. Chidi's free. Good control and a good finish. Look at that. 16th goal of the season. And whilst it was a good ball in, it was really good control from Chidi. Takes it down on his chest and left foot. Could be our Yannick Janin with enough time. Okay, so 4-0, not even half time. They've had 1 shot. Tactically, we seem to be okay in the group stage. And I've been thinking about changing the tactics recently, but no real cause to do it at this stage. In my other kind of offline save, I guess it's just not a YouTube save, it's like the journeyman that I play. Gone from Warrington to Preston, who were in the Championship, and they were kind of relegation fodder. I needed to save them. Messed around tactically, and in the end I went for a 5-4-1. Kind of based on one that was in the forum by Mr. Rosler in the SI forum. Gone Spearling. There we go. Nice finish. Nothing was going to stop that. Yes, it's a 5-4-1. The actual thread, so you can find the thread if you look. I think something like a realistic tactic for FM19. It's called something along those lines. And Mr. E. Rosler, who does a lot of tactics actually on the SI forums, a lot of pretty good tactics, wanted something that wasn't kind of gamey, and that he was sort of trying to break the match engine and abuse it or anything like that. Wanted something that kind of played like a real tactic, was successful, would work with underdog teams quite a lot. So that kind of made me think, well, maybe 5-4-1 is viable. It also helped that the team I inherited had maybe 2 good strikers, but not 2 great strikers. So by kind of getting rid of one of those strikers and then putting in an extra defender, I was able to kind of shore up this relegation side. So my tactic's not exactly the same as theirs, but it was one I hadn't considered before. And you can treat it a lot like, that's a dive. That looked like a dive. Looked like he actually. Oh, never mind. Make some subs. Such a dive. Oops. Done there. We didn't deserve to score that because it was a dive. Yeah, the 5-4-1 plays a lot like, we can treat it a lot like a 4-4-2. So tactically, treat it the same. This means you need a bit more depth in defence, gives you a bit more defensive cover, and you can play it a couple of different ways. So I've kind of got two versions going on. I've got one where I've got wing backs and then inverted wingers, which is like the Rosler one that's on the forum. But I've got another one that has fullbacks and wingers, but uses the kind of overlap instructions. It's more of a traditional kind of wing play version. And in theory, you could do another one where you've got inverted wingers, but also put some Mazzalas in the centre to get you kind of width that way instead. So there's lots of kind of options with it. It's really flexible. So it's actually been really useful for a kind of squad with limited. What a shot! I've kind of given up on this match because we were so far ahead and they weren't threatening. It's not been, for me, winning 7-0 twice in a row isn't actually that entertaining. But that is a good goal. The power he got on that from a standing position, decent. Definitely putting a bid in for top goal scorer, isn't he? On Higgins. Nah. Oh, there we go. Another 7-0. 2 7-0s in a row. Completely blowing apart what I said about how well I thought we were going to do in this. So we'll come back for the final match against Ericor, and I'll show you what the group stage is like at that point. Alright, so we're back, and you can see in the group stage here that we've qualified. So us and Ericor Golden Star, who are about to play, are through. There are no problems going on there. All that kind of is to fight for is whether you finish first or whether you finish second, and I cannot remember for the life of me. And I know this happens every single time we're in the OCL, but I cannot remember, sorry, whether it makes any difference. It just says, oh, this is preliminary, isn't it? Top two teams qualify for the quarterfinal. There doesn't seem to be any ranking. I think it might just be a randomized selection test. I don't think it matters too much whether we win this one or not. But what we are going to do is we're going to rotate some of the team. So that's an entire midfield change. Can we do that up front as well? Let's bring on Chabert, get Wallace on instead of Chidi. Feel a little bit bad because obviously Chidi's probably wants some kind of record. Let's bring on Stroud. We'll do that. We won't do too much to the defence because that's reasonably key. And away we go. And after this match, I'll show you the other groups as well, so you can see what some of the potential teams we'll have to play are. I think one of the things I'm definitely going to try and change for FM20 in this database is how the OCL works. I did try and do it a little bit this year, but it's quite tricky to change. Go and who it. At sight of goal, but just wide. Yeah, it's quite tricky to change some of the continental competitions because the way they're kind of coded, and you can do it. If you go to the editor, you can get into the details of it, make some changes, and kind of put it back. But it's quite tricky, so I didn't do it this time. But what I will do, almost lamb, is try for FM20 because what I want is a more competitive kind of group stage. Go on, Lamb. Oh, rifles that one in. Dave Kerr with the assist. I won't necessarily show you the replays for all the goals for this. But yeah, what I'd like is a more competitive kind of group system and maybe more reward as well for playing in it. And what I'd also like to try is, currently in this database, Tuamotun, Austral Islands, Gambier, all the ones I've added have replaced the side from Oceania, so Papua New Guinea, American Samoa, and Samoa, teams who've been replaced, for example. So what I'd quite like to do is see if I can just add them, still have them try and play in competitions for World Cup qualification and any other kind of international competitions there are, but then try to set it up so that when it comes to the kind of OCL, it's just kind of us against the teams from these other nations. We're not impacting on any kind of qualifiers or league systems in there, so that actually they can get money that goes in so they can become more competitive over time as well, which is a bit tricky, but it's worth it. I know in real life there are plans to change the OCL qualification, not OCL qualification, the OCL competition itself, I think. I don't know whether these are coming into play for next, or this current season that's just started, or it'll be the version afterwards. I'll need to look up on it and see what the kind of setup is. But it's something I want to play around with and maybe make a little bit more competitive. For example, it'd be good if we could have more teams from New Zealand included. Go on, Kerr. No, Minan picks someone up instead. Kerr can be bothered. Lamb gets it in. Kerr's going to get another pop. Nah, Bauman. Bauman instead. So it looks like we'll have a comfortable win here as well. Maybe not the same margin, because it's like kind of second string for parts of it, but we'll see. So yeah, I want to revamp that competition, make it more competitive, make them sort of more rewards, because as it stands, playing the group stage isn't that satisfying. Now that we've done it, now we've established it, and now because of the way I think the seeding is set up, we've avoided New Zealand quite often in the group stage, more often than just chance will allow. So I think something's going on there, either rep-wise or competition-wise, something to do with seedings going on. So it'd be good if we can make the group stage more fraught, more tense. It'd also be good if there's more rewards for teams, so these other smaller nations can get a bit of a boost as well. All the way back to Stroud. Oh, Chabert's through. Good finish. It's not just his head that he scores with. He scored 3 goals in the OCL so far. Not bad for a backup striker. And he's like 4th choice when it comes down to it. I mean, that was poor defending. He's just in the right place at the right time there. One of the things I'm also considering for... Oh, Bauman just passed him and then slots it in. I'm going to watch that one again, because does he leave the defender for dead, or does the defender just not bother? So Huick gets it in. Past him. Yeah, there we go. So one of the things I'm considering doing for FM20 as well is all the teams... Oh, go on, Kerr. All the teams in the Premiership and the Championship on this one. In fact, no, I think all the teams across the board started off as professional. And I did that because getting the money turn professional in was really difficult. And what it created was this kind of tackle, was this kind of tier system in kind of long-term tests. And in other versions I've played, I've done it as semi-professional, and then you move on. But it created this kind of tier system where if you were the teams who were lucky to be successful in the first few seasons, you then created this kind of lock, this dominance, because you turn professional, maybe your rival would turn professional, and it'd just be 2 teams, maybe 3 teams, constantly competing and fighting for OCL, getting the money, staying professional. And everyone else was semi-professional, would hemorrhage players, would shut down their youth programs, end up getting kind of bankruptcy issues. So I need to kind of tweak the finance side to try and make sure teams can kind of survive if they're managed appropriately. I don't want to make it too easy, but I want to make sure, financially, if you're responsible, you'll be okay. And if you take a risk and it fails, you'll be punished, which is the way it should be, I guess. So I need to sort out the finances. Oh, they scored. It was a good goal. It's a good name as well. Azaria Soroman. Good name. Like a wizard. We'll watch this one just because, yeah, beats in there. So it'd be good to have better finances so we can have that pro, semi-pro thing without teams getting destroyed. But also maybe change it so there is a way to do it. I know there is, but I didn't do it this time for some reason. But setting it so that if you get promoted into the Premiership, your club has to turn pro. And making sure that teams can probably survive without too much hardship. Go Chabert, Wallace is through. There we go. Chabert and Wallace are a nice backup pairing, aren't they? So that's what I want to do. Do something about the professional status, because it would be good to take a team from semi-pro to pro status. It would change things financially, but the layer to the whole challenge around things. Better represent what the standard of football is as well, because they're not all these professional teams in Tahiti. I mean, there's not all these teams in Tahiti either, I guess, but you know what I mean. So 7-1. Technically not as good as the other performances, but still 7 goals. Oh, Chabert. There we go. So it's the same goal difference. It's the equivalent of 7-0, if you want to be like that. Chabert's done well. Maybe we'll just keep him forever and ever. He can come on and just bang the occasional goal in. If he's past him, he's through. There we go. Maybe he's just a good OCL backup. I don't know if he'd be doing that in the Premiership as well. I know the Premiership is definitely better than the OCL. And that's kind of what I want to avoid almost. I want the group stage of the OCL to be as competitive as the Premiership is. I don't want it to be an easy buy almost. I could have basically just holidayed through this and set the tactic, and I imagine I would have done more or less as well. No, not this. I want to share the highlights. Not that that button actually works properly. Okay, so here we go. Oh, look at the stages. So all the matches have been played now, as far as I see. So Wellington and Marist Fire are through from Group A. Moria and Bar are through from Group B. Auckland and Magenta from Group C, and then us and Erical. I reckon we can beat Magenta, we can beat Bar, we can beat Marist Fire. Everyone else has a really good chance of beating us. So we shall see. We'll end the episode there though, because it's quite a long one with the 3 games. And we'll come back either for any important league games we've got, so it might be a match against Moria that's coming up, or we might come back for the actual knockout rounds. Thanks very much.